Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting and also to get those of you that have been painting a while to paint along with us and try some new projects. And today we're going to work on our chicks. We're going to do a chicken plate. Now, this is the line drawing, and you can see I've added a little some crocus on each side. I'll show you how to do that if you want to do that. Now, I think it's important that you know that this is a beginner plate. So if you're looking for how do I do feathers and stuff, this isn't this. And it's a beginner because I try to work mainly with beginners, give them something that they can do quickly and easily and that comes out well. And so that's what we're working on. Now, why do we use line drawings? My preference with line drawings is especially with animals. Now, you don't need to use it. If you can draw great. But if you're new to China painting and this is the first time you've done a baby chick, proportions are very important. And so a line drawing will make sure that you start out with the correct proportions. And then if that doesn't work for you, then you can draw your own. But that's the reason I use line drawings. I don't recommend you use them long term. I think you should learn how to be able to draw on what it is that you want to paint. But they do help you the first time you paint something to get it right. At least you've got the proportions there, and all you have to worry about is the color and the shading. Colors. I added a few because I added the crocus, so I added purples like heliotrope and royal purple are down here. And I also have chartreuse, moss green, Copenhagen. No, I'm sorry. That's not Copen. That's cool shadow. Gray green. I like gray green. God, I like gray green. This is, I found the best ivory for these little guys is probably Trenton ivory. Trenton ivory is yellow, so put it where yellow is. And then I have next to that, that's translucent. It's actually a color, you could use yellow brown. But I like the translucent. It's not quite as dark as yellow brown, and it gives it a real pretty look. And that's a portrait color. I also have canary there, and I have orange. So those are all the colors I have. The brushes I'm going to be using are, I have, of course, my 1/4 inch. This is my Sharp brush. I love it. I have this one, which is my, let's see, whose brush is this? Oh, I can't even tell whose brush it is anymore. Yeah, it's all worn off. It's a 10, and it's a filbert. And I use this for background or for when I'm adding the color around the edge. I have a little tiny brush. This one is actually a Paula Collins number 4. See how tiny it is? I'm going to be using that for the crocus. And then, of course, I have my hairbrush or texture it brush. Now you can see I added the crocus. Before we get this too sized up here, let me show you how I do a crocus. Crocus is like a tulip, except that, keep in mind, it's a triangle. So it goes like this in the front. Oops, like this. Of course, it doesn't want to write. Like this in the front, okay, at the top. It's a big triangle. And then it comes down like this. You round it out a little. Okay. And then as you're putting the sides on, you can either overlap them or you can just hint at them like this. There you have a crocus. And you can put your stem on. And then the petals are just individual, the leaves are just individual little spikes like this. So I wouldn't draw those in. I wouldn't even draw well, I usually do draw in the stem because I think when you draw in the stem, you can, like if you do this and you do this, then you know right where you want to put them. But that's how you do them. They come down like this. And you can do a little hoop-de-hoop at the top if you want. You can come on this side. You can come on this side. You could overlap this more that way if you wanted. So it's up to you. But anyway, that's how you do crocus. For those of you that are new, I use Sorel transfer paper. It's dark red on one side and light on the other side. All right, we're going to start with our brush that is our texture it or our hairbrush. And I'm just putting a little oil on it. The oil I use, if you're curious, is I use a Terpenoid Natural, which comes in the green bottle, the bottle with the, well, I should say the thing with the green on it. It says Terpenoid Natural. There's another Terpenoid, and it's just plain Terpenoid that has a blue label, and that is for cleaning your brush. So I'm going to load my brush with my Trenton Yellow this way, and my translucent with just a hair on there. See how it loads? Can you see that? I think it's pretty easy to see. And I'm just going to start, and like we did with the bunnies, we just do a little tapping. Oops, got to get the right side down, right? See? It automatically shades for you. You just tap around the outside. Tap, 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 tap. It's like little, it's actually like little C's that you're doing, but you just kind of go around the outside like that. Very, very simple. And then the same thing with his body. Just tap around. You may need to add more of the darker colors. So if you want to add more of the translucent, you can do that just to give a little more depth. Now, one of the things we want to do with our little chick is make sure that he has like little feathers somewhere, so, or little wings. So I'm just, oops, that's too dark. Wipe it off and just go back and keep pulling it, and it will automatically do what it needs to do. And then down here, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just coming around. See how I've got the dark on there, and I'm just pull it up a little with the side of your brush if you need to, just so it's not too dark. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Look at how fluffy and cute they look. Isn't that adorable? Now remember, this is first fire. First fire, we try to do it with a real kind of a light coat. So please keep that in mind. And then just go back and slightly, you still want the texture. So slightly go through and just smooth it. But don't smooth it entirely, because what you want is to have this baby be real soft and cute. Okay, that's one bird down. How simple is that, right? Now, see that there? It was a little dark. I want to make sure that we don't have any buildup. By buildup, I mean places where you have your color kind of caked on, or you see edges. Well, let me show you. I can show you what it looks like. Probably better with just a regular brush. Okay, so here's a green and here's a green. If I do it this way, see, that's buildup. You don't want that. What you would do in that case, wipe off the color, go back and just kind of clean it up, because you don't want that kind of buildup. If you do that, it's going to come out as a huge dark spot on your work, and it's going to ruin your work. So you don't, you know, you work hard to get this just the way you want it. So we're not going to purposely go out there and try to wreck it. Alrighty. It also could be that you're loading your brush too heavily. All right, I'm going to do this little guy. And I'm just tapping. See how I'm just tapping? With him, it's pretty simple. I think the tapping gives you that more of a feathery look. Now see here, right here, there's a little bit of buildup. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm just going to tap. Okay, got rid of that. I'm doing a full load of the, see, you can see the side load there. Full load of the yellow. I'm going around his little head. I want his head to be a little brighter, so I'm going to just add a little yellow to it. And a side load of the translucent. Okay, and I'm going to go all the way around, and then he has this little thing here. I just want to, and you might want to put a little more under his chin. That's entirely up to you. So as we said, the reason that you would use a line drawing is just to help you get proportions correct on these animals, especially the first time you do an animal. If it doesn't, the proportions aren't right, you're going to be very upset with it. And once you've done it with a line drawing, doing it on your own seems to be a lot easier. So, okay, we've gotten that much done on him. Always err on the side of it being too light and not too heavy. I'm going to use my itty bitty little 4 here, and I'm going to put in his beak with the orange. I have a deep orange, or you could use that other one that I use, which is Southwest Brown. And I'm just gonna wipe in his little beak. Now I have, I use my Sharpie on there. That's what a Sharpie looks like, the fine Sharpies, because they fire out, but you can see it smears when you paint. So if you don't need to use it, don't. There are other things you can use to put your colors on. You can also use a pencil called a Stabilo. It's a black one like this, and it's got a softer lead, and it's very easy to draw on your china with. Okay, now let's get this little guy's beak here. There. See, I'm pulling from the top, and I don't quite have as much. Let me do the same thing here. Let's pull from the top and pull the color in, and it won't look so muddy. It really isn't muddy, but it won't look so muddy. Now, am I putting the lines in on this time? No. And the reason I'm not is because I don't think I need to. I think I can wait until the next time and it'll be fine. Now, I forgot to mention that we need a small brush to put in the eye with. And I'm just going to get my itty-bitty, teeny-tiny detail brush. This is, see how tiny that is? It's a great little detail brush. And I'm going to dip it in my black, which I don't have on here. What was I thinking? Okay, so I'm going to get some black out, and we'll do his eye. Now with the bunny, I did it in brown. You can do it in brown if you want. Do it slowly. I'm pretty happy with that. A lot of people start with the eye. If you want to start with the eye, if you're one of those people, that's fine. I find that with a light animal like this, if I start with the eye, I end up with the eye with the black in everything, and I don't care for that. Okay. I have to look at them when I'm putting the black on so that I know how it looks on their eye. And then I visualize an eye in my head. And I look at him and go, is he close? Yeah, that one works. Okay. Now, the only other thing you want to do is take a picture before you fire this. And like in this case, I think this beak goes out a little too far. So I'm going to take my brush, my hairbrush with a little yellow on it, and I'm just going to pull it too. See how that softens that in there? Makes it look a little more realistic and doesn't... You can always add more orange, but I think it's important to try to get the proportions right now. Okay, we're going to do his legs, his little cute little legs here. I'm just going to use my number 4. Move that paint over. And I'm going to put it in my deep orange. And I'm just going to come down and do his legs. Now, I thought they were a little, they look like they're a little chunky. So I'm going to just... Remember, this is the first fire. You don't have to put all the shadows. You don't have to put all the color on this time. For some reason, I think I'm going to go back to my Southwest Brown because this orange is not what I had in mind. It's okay, but it's not Southwest Brown. Southwest Brown is fabulous. But there you go. Okay. It's going to be a fairly quick session because it doesn't take much to do the rest of this. All right, I'm going to do these little crocus now, going back to my itty bitty brush. I'm going to full load with heliotrope. Here's my heliotrope. Side load with royal purple. I love royal purple. Royal violet's just as good if you have it. And I'm just going to paint these guys in. Now, make sure that you get the royal purple on there a little, but it doesn't have to be on there a lot. But you do need to know which petal is which. So like in the back here, it's just the purple, because that's the depth. See that? See how I'm adding just the depth back there? And then on this guy here in the front, there. Just trying to get a little bit of the color on there so that I know what I did. There we go. Sometimes I find I pull down too far and then I need to go in and kind of pull it back a little so I don't have like a clump of the dark paint at the base. I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but I do. Oops, what did I do here? Hang on, let me clean my brush. I don't remember which side I had the paint on. Better to just clean it and put the paint back on it so I'm doing it the right way. Okay, here. Now, I'm going to take just the purple and put it up in here. Okay. And then here I can add a little lighter color. And this is a nice one here. I can come down. You do want a little bit of a highlight. So I'm going to take my Q-tip and just wipe out a highlight here and there. Okay. And then we'll go back to this guy. There we go. This is a little dark. I don't want it quite that dark. There we go. All right. That's the little baby crocus on each side of them. Now I'm going to do the grass. I like to do the grass, believe it or not. Oh, I've got some paint on this. Let me get it off. I like to do the grass with my big guy. But if it doesn't work, then I will switch over to something else. I mean, I'm going to start with a full load of gray-green and maybe a side load of moss. And I'm just, with these guys, I want to get their little, oh, nope, it's not going to work. Okay, so, and that's too heavy. See how heavy that is? So I'm just going to go and use my liner. And I'll use a little gray-green. And I'll just use my liner. There we go. And do it the same on this side. There, there, there. Now the petals for the, or the leaves for the crocus are kind of, how do I describe them? They're kind of just bigger versions of this, like a stick like this. Not, in fact, that's probably too heavy. There we go. Yeah, that's a little heavy. Let me get that down there. Okay. I'm going to push it over a little. Okay, I'm putting in the grass. I have to have a lot of oil or turpentine. You can use turpentine, but you have to wipe it on your towel. You should always use a towel to wipe off your oils. And as you dip your brush in oil, then you tap it on your towel to get the paint out, the oil out. And let's do this guy here. I think he's still, you can see him, yeah. Nuts. These are my least favorite leaves. I'm just going to shape them. There we go. And I will shape this one. There we go. Then I'm going to go back and get a little grass here. We're going to put a little grass along the bottom here. Okay, and then I'm going to put grass. Now, when I say wipe on your towel, so you dip it in the turpentine and then you wipe it on your towel just for a minute. But I wouldn't use it close, like here, I'm not using that. I'm using oil because I painted this little guy with oil. And if I get turpentine too close to him, what will happen is he will run. And I'm just putting a little grass coming up here and there around him, but I don't have enough oil. You have to have your oil on your brush because otherwise it won't. There, see how much better that works? There we go. Move it down a little. Okay. And now I'm going to take my filbert, dip it in my oil. I'm going to use just a gray green right now. And I'm just going to use, I like the gray green because it doesn't overpower anything and it doesn't usually clump up. And I'm doing the same thing I did on the bunny plate because this is a beginner plate, or for somebody who's coming back into China painting that hasn't painted animals before, this is a great plate to start with. It's a really simple one. This is much more simple than the bunny plate because there's nothing to these chicks. And I may use this also for a gift in the family. Now, the border of this, I experimented with borders. I tried blue. I tried a million colors. And I finally came down to this gray-green. The blues I liked, but they were just a little too much. So I'm taking the gray-green, and as you see, I have a really cool border here. And this is a Bavarian plate. Again, that's another reason why I like it. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint all the way to the end because it's just easier. Okay. I'm going to go all the way around. So what I'm doing now is I'm just painting to the edge. Now I'm trying to get it all the same color, the same value, but it doesn't always work. By value, I mean, you know, like color. But you've got the second coat to even it up, so don't worry about that. You know, everybody tries to be perfect on the first round, and you don't have to be. That's why you paint multiple versions of this. So, okay, I'm going around the edge. You can't stop when you're doing a continual border like this. Even here, it's going to be harder to blend just because I painted that earlier and it's had a chance to set up a little, but luckily not long enough that it dried. Okay, so here, let's get this. I need a little more oil. The other thing you'll find is that when you add oil to your brush, if you add too much, it's going to be, your border will change color because you won't put as much paint on as you did before. Now you want to hold your brush way back and do what we call feathering all the way around, just to kind of even out those colors a little, okay? Okay, I'm happy with that. Now I'm taking my Q-tip, doing the edge. Oh. I probably should do it this way. And I know I'll be in the way, but okay. I'm going to get a different Q-tip. This one's been used too many times. And I'm going to try something. Let me see what it looks like. If I don't like it, I don't leave it. I was going to wipe out up to that. I don't know if you can see there's a ruffle there. Yep, I do like that better. So I'm using my Q-tip now. This is a pointed Q-tip. It's kind of perfect for this. If this were darker, you could see a little easier what I'm doing. Over here on this side, I think it's a little darker. Can you see what I've done? I'm just wiping out the edge so that I have I have an inner border and an outer border of white. The reason I left the white on the inside here is because I don't want to put a background on this. I just think, yeah, sometimes backgrounds are a little old-fashioned, and on a plate like this, I don't think it needs it. I think it would detract from the plate. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm wiping it out. So always pay attention to your borders. If your borders have the ability to give you a unique finishing appearance, take full advantage of it like this. I'm going to get rid of these Q-tips and go around one last time and clean up this border. I'm going around to take any color that I pushed to the edge off the edge. I missed here. There we go. Okay. And here. Okay. So that's our first fire. Okay, here it is. You can't even see the green on there, but it is there. See it? Okay, so that's my first fire. The way you change, take a picture of it. If it looks fine, leave it. If it's something where you need to change proportion or the depth of color, let's say the chicken's too fat in one spot, or you see that you got yellow paint outside the lines and you want to make sure that it doesn't look, you know, too weird, or you've got too much purple at the base of your crocus, then change it. But if it's something where you want to add more depth, leave it. You can do that next time. Pick up those brushes, keep painting. I'll see you next time.